This is Jordan Grace, and you're listening to the Social Suplex Podcast Network.
BWB, this is One Nation Radio. You better get it right. Rich Latta, James Boyd came to give them life. The Blackest Wrestling Podcast has come to kick all ass and drop it 6 feet if they kicking trash. Word, let me welcome y'all to something different. And if you dig it, man, you should let some friends listen. We be getting it in, this on the regular, dude. Ravish and flow, but this shit rude. See, James don't rap, so I had to break it down. The whole network, man, we coming for the crown. Raps in the columns, I keep them both covered. Making the beats too, so the listeners can bump it. Hit us with the rating, yeah, I'm saying it's a 5. Before you hit it, talk, bob your head side to side. It's One Nation Radio, and this is the beginning. It's Rich, and I'm here with James. It's time to listen to One Nation.
We got to unleash the power of the pyramid.
This is Mike Sempervive from WrestlingObserver.com. Check me out on Wrestling Observer Live every day. And also check out your boys, Rich and James, on One Nation Radio.
This is Kenny Omega. We're listening to One Nation Radio. Check it out, guys. These guys know what's up. Big Kenny Omega fans, that's all that counts to me. Goodbye and good night. Bang.
Welcome to the May 19th edition of One Nation Radio. We are recording this on May 18th, but you will get it May 19th. So it is like we're doing this on a Saturday. Normally we record on Sundays. I'm your host, Rich Latta. Of course, my co-host, leg wash enthusiast, James Boyd. James, what's going on, man?
Leg wash enthusiast. That's why I did call myself that on the thing. Yeah, I also call myself a washcloth lobbyist. Yeah, I am very pro washing your ass. I suggest you all scrub, fuck the ground, scrub your ass. So I'm all in on that. After last weekend's just shenanigans, as far as finding out that some of our brothers and sisters out here, and with my brothers and sisters, I don't mean brothers and sisters, but some of us, let's say some of the other people that are around us in our lives and in the place that we walk are out here skipping. You know, I say skipping leg day. Yeah. They ain't talking about working out. They are skipping leg day for washing their ass. So they don't wash their ass fully. And then apparently, like some of them, they do wash their legs. But apparently, a famous Taylor Swift came out here and said, "I wash my legs because I shave my legs every day, and the
soap runs down.
It's just like soap, right?" And then Ellen, you know, one of those noble figures in the world, said, "Yeah, sure," and just walked and carried on. And I was like, "No, Ellen, no, we need more explanations of this. What is going on here? Why are you rich and why are you stinking fucking rich and I washing your legs, Taylor?" So then it turned into some other lady that worked the local news spot somewhere and said that like she washes her legs, but she doesn't wash her feet, which is like, you don't wash your feet.
Yeah.
You don't wash your feet?
There's some new shit.
Wow.
Flabbergasted.
Wow. It's an epidemic out here.
Yeah, you know, because we had people openly on Twitter just coming forward and admitting their washing deficiencies and everything like that. Like, I don't know, bro. Like, even if it were true, right? Why or were not true? Why would you even say that out loud? Like, be like, well, maybe I just learned something. Why don't I just incorporate that into what I got going on and then never mention this shit again?
it's people's worldview, right? So, like, the way that we're kind of all
this
like kind of like shocked and disgusted about it is like similar to how people, you know, like that's what they're accustomed to. They just figure everybody else skips washing their legs too. So then people are kind of like jarred by it. They're kind of like, wait, that's not how, you know, like, I guess I'm lacking. You know, that's kind of that thing. And then they take it as, well, like, that's their normal. So other people's normal is, like, you know, a higher bar of ass washery. So apparently, like, they think that, like, I guess that means that, like, everybody else or other people are kind of, like, more, you know, into their grooming than I am, so they take it as, well, okay, whatever. And like, then, nobody actually thinks that they are disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of how it goes too. But like, nah, y'all kind of are. Y'all kind of tripping out here.
And as the stories went on, there was another famous woman, Khloe Kardashian, who says she barely finds time to shower, period, in these streets. So
okay. Did you click on the link?
I didn't.
Okay, I did.
Okay.
Lamar Odom said that because when he almost died a few years back, she was at the hospital and she never left the bedside even to take a shower for a few days. For me, look, I'm not saying that's the best thing in the world, but I can forgive such a thing compared to like the headline that was like one of those scandalous headlines. That's one of those clickbait, type of deals.
Yeah.
Look. The joke was hilarious. I'll always appreciate the joke, but it's not necessarily like that. And also, like, I don't really care about Khloe Kardashian like that. But yeah, look, whatever.
He got me.
Yeah.
But we got a lot to get to. Everybody, remember, wash your ass, your legs, your feet, everything.
From head to toe. From toe to head. However you like it, just wash it. Every day.
No days off.
Every day.
Look,
with something to exfoliate the dead skin off of your body. Don't just use the bar. I know some of y'all out here just using the bar.
We're not talking about Cesaro and Sheamus.
Yes. Like, don't just use the bar. You put the bar into something that scrubs and lathers into it so you can help scrub your body, scrub the dead skin and dust off of and grit and grime off your body. Okay?
We see quality programming here at One Nation Radio.
Yes. That should be the new slogan. One Nation Radio. Wash your ass.
Had to cut that for a drop.
Look. We're gonna continue. We're gonna continue this also, right? Floss every day before you go to sleep. Wake up. Brush your teeth. Your tongue, your gum line underneath your tongue, the back. Look down. Look, the soft palate, the top of the roof of your mouth too. Then use mouthwash every day as a routine.
Man, I'm gonna have to get on that because I don't be on my floss game like that. I ain't gonna front.
Look, people be slacking on the flossing. I understand that. If you're on brushing your teeth, you can survive. You can get by with mouthwash and brush your teeth. But every little bit helps, okay? But don't come out here brushing just your damn teeth. Don't come out here just brushing your damn tongue. Brush your gum line, brush underneath your tongue, brush the roof.
Oh my god.
Not roof, roof.
The roof. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah, man, we got a lot to get to. Last week we didn't have a show. It was Mother's Day, and
hey, real quick, how long did we just go to?
We went about almost like 7.5 minutes.
Yes, me just yelling at people that I don't know if they actually watching their ass or not, but I'm yelling at them telling them they need to. This is ridiculous.
If you have not heard this thing, just type it in your Googles, and you'll see everything we're talking about. So.
You can type in Taylor Swift feet. You can type or Taylor Swift legs. You can type in.
Go ahead.
No, if you type I'm dead serious. I don't mean like you type in like you out here on a fetish, but literally there was a point on Tuesday or it was Tuesday or Wednesday where if you typed in Taylor, all of a sudden the rest of it popped up Swift legs, and then that was the exact quote about her on Ellen talking about how she don't wash her legs. Look, you type in hygiene right now, you type in washcloth, there's a bunch of stuff you can type in. It's ridiculous. I'm tired of seeing this on my timeline. Y'all wash y'all asses again so I can move on with my life. It's ridiculous.
We need to feel comfortable.
There was a Stardom show on, I believe it was Thursday. It was a Korakuen Hall show, right? Korakuen Hall show. I had to block like 30 things so to make sure I didn't get spoiled on any of the stuff, right? I wish I had typed in hygiene, Taylor Swift, Khloe Kardashian, feet, legs, all that stuff, because on my timeline I saw some stuff that I just like, I can't believe this is happening. What am I seeing here?
New shit. Apparently old shit, so I don't know.
Yeah.
People been doing this for years.
Yes. And also, after you wash, don't worry about you feeling your legs and your skin feeling dry, because this is the stuff called lotion. You put it on your skin after you get out the shower, okay?
Oh my gosh. So the hygienal portion of the show is now complete. As we mentioned, we didn't do a show last week, but I feel like we've more than made up for it already. It was Mother's Day. I hope everybody that has mothers in their lives got to enjoy their time with them. But we got lots to get to. It was a big week in wrestling.
I hope y'all moms out there was washing their asses too. Okay, we can move on. We can move on. So the damn shame gotta tell moms to wash their ass, because normally moms is the ones that tell people to wash their ass. But some of y'all ain't doing it right either. some of the moms out here. Never mind. We go. I'm not gonna about moms. Let's move on. Happy Mother's Day. Move on.
So we've got a format sheet pretty much written down here, but we just had some breaking news happen like minutes before we went, to record here, and I am about to snap. So let's just jump right in. Double or Nothing, May 25th. We do have a Double or Nothing preview at the end of this show, but there will not be one match. There will be one match we will not be talking about because apparently it is not happening. PAC was supposed to face Hangman Page, and it is not happening due to creative differences as reported by Dave Meltzer. And the key to the story seems to be that as long as Neville, he's made this commitment to be a real world champion to Dragon Gate, he's not doing any jobs. And the match has been canceled today, meaning Saturday. Page flew over to England, and PAC and Page did a match that they are releasing for free for everyone that's like kind of paid, but there is, a schmoz finish. I won't, go too much further into it than that, but I think, they took him over to England and all that, and we don't know what PAC's status is going forward. If he shows back up, I'm sure they'll run this match again. I'm sure they'll use this as part of whatever, but this is a colossal failure on every level for AEW. This brings up concerns of the booking. This brings up talent relations issues. This brings up planning issues. And, I think people got on All Elite trying to make shit up out of thin air, right? Like, people have just like bent over backwards the wrong way to try to, to bang on these dudes. But this is legit right here. One, PAC shouldn't be doing a job anyway for Hangman Page at all. Whether he's wearing a Dragon Gate belt, whether he's wearing no belt, whether he washed his ass or not.
Oh my God.
I don't care what day of the week it is. Hangman Page, I get it. He's a part of the Elite. They like him. He has fans. He's a guy they believe in, that he's the future, right? But the future is not the present. And the Hangman thing, that's like a thing you do 3 years from now, and you start it now, and you show him going through and progressing and eventually becoming, whenever Omega takes a step back, whenever, anything, happens, you have him built for down the road. I think he's only 27 years old, if I'm not mistaken. It's blatantly clear by the story that PAC was like, hold on, I'm losing? What? I'm not doing this. And if you knew that, he's been doing draws all around the world with Will Ospreay, like 30 minutes. I think he did it with a couple of other guys, if I'm not mistaken, Zack Sabre Jr. And it also says for AEW, like, it does say that they care about wins and losses, but it doesn't. I don't like the precedent that they could be setting here. James?
Yeah. Okay, so right now, Neville's a bigger name worldwide. Neville's the better wrestler right now, around the world, more respected, and he's also a bigger name and more, and also for your own fan base, as far as quote unquote dream matches of the like, right, with Jericho or Cody or Omega out there, people would pay around the world more likely to go see Neville eventually wrestle. Any of those guys, any of the other heavy hitters on your that you have at your disposal. So him losing to Adam Cole is ridiculous, and
Page.
it is in line with a lot of the stuff that we would be saying about WWE about beating people that are outsiders or quote unquote people that aren't in the aren't the protected ones or whatever you want to call them. And we always get on them for it. And this is the case of them doing the exact same thing. And it's short-sighted. It makes no sense because, just like you said, the play for or Adam Page is the long play. He's the quote-unquote end game as far as, like, that's the plan, 2 to 2.5 years from now to get to him as far as like a guy. Like he's somebody that should be your mid card champion. He's not somebody that should be headlining shows. And Neville, somebody you can headline a show with.
They already are headlining a show with him. Like he's the feature attraction of the Fyter Fest against Omega and the Bucks, and then PAC and the Lucha Bros. No word on if that is still going on. I hope so, because I did get tickets today. But this is not a good thing, and I think people should really get on AEW for this. Like FDS, go get them. Like have a ball, because I'll be right there with you, because this is not the spirit of the promotion that we were essentially sold and believed that these guys were capable of doing. Now, on All In, did any of these guys lose? No, but that was like a one-off thing. This is seriously concerning and potentially damages their long-term relationship with PAC. Hopefully they can come to some type of agreement, and whenever he loses the Dragon Gate belt or anything like that, Dragon Gate will fuck around and keep it on for a year or whatever.
Yeah. And also, you said that none of the elite guys lost last year, but they did. Like, Marty took that L to Okada.
Oh, okay, so, yeah, my fault.
I mean, I'm not saying necessarily that PAC is freaking Okada, but he's one of the best, most respected names in pro wrestling. So he's on a higher plane than Adam Page. Like we were just talking about this just before we started. Before I went on that rant about people washing their ass. I asked you, how many points did Adam Page win in the G1? And you told me he finished tied for 6th in his block. He won 6 points in a G1 block. Like, nah, man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, and it stinks because a lot of people were looking forward to that match. That would have been a great addition to the card. As far as like, Cody and Dustin, that's going to be a whole. We'll get to it, but
we'll see what that's going to be.
Yeah, we'll see. But it wasn't going to be this. So it wasn't no Neville in the ring in that match. So, but on the brighter side for AEW, they did announce their television deal this week. So it is official. AEW and Warner Media will be partners, and there will be weekly primetime wrestling on TNT like the good old days, James.
Oh my God, the good old days. I mean, you mean like the first hour?
For an hour and a half,
You mean the first hour before like the dudes before like the old guys came around? That's what you mean?
Yeah, so TNT has picked up AEW. They've basically, I'm just gonna read it here so I don't miss anything. Like they like AEW and Warner officially announced at the Ladders Upfronts at the Hulu Theater for a deal for weekly primetime wrestling. This would be the most significant breakthrough for pro wrestling in the U.S. since Turner Broadcasting canceled wrestling on TNT and TBS in early 2001. The deal, which was expected, came without much in the ways of answers to a lot of questions, largely because those questions haven't been answered. Nothing's concrete past the 2-hour show. Day of the week's not official, but it's likely Tuesday or Wednesday. Think Wednesday, everybody. It said Warner's going to make the call based on market research. Bullshit. They're going to be subservient to the NBA, and they should be. And the whole deal of it on there are no rights fees, no direct rights fees coming into AEW. However, this is said to be the most lucrative non-WWE TV deal ever, because they're getting an ad split as well as what else were they? They're getting their production paid for by TNT. Who knows how much that's going to cost? So they can make that shit look real expensive. And it's going to be, and they also have a downside guarantee. So they're going to be basically doing a show to draw ratings, to sell pay-per-views. It's almost like it's a traditional pro wrestling business, James.
Yeah, almost. I mean, yeah, you're right about the Wednesday thing, because it's like the NBA's not moving, because the NBA schedule set in place. I mean, obviously, this is somebody like me or you that like follows the NBA almost to the same point as wrestling. Like, the NBA's TV deals are set up to where their Wednesday show is on ESPN, their national live show, and then ESPN also has the Friday show. Tuesdays is split between NBA TV and TNT from time to time, especially like recent years since the new money came in about 3 years ago or whatever. Yeah, like they're not going to be getting Tuesday. I mean, they could get Tuesdays, but be preempted all the goddamn time.
Yeah, I wouldn't even bother.
Yeah, so just move your ass to Wednesdays and, do your show. Now, the whole thing is, well, there are going to be two, really at this point, 1.8 million viewers that don't watch wrestling anymore on Tuesdays. Like, that's the thought process. Cool, but just because they ain't going to be watching WWE does not mean they're going to be watching AEW.
Yeah, and I've heard people float the idea that being preempted or being like a 1 hour lead in wouldn't be the worst thing in the world to like a big NBA game, and you could do like, essentially like you can do two big matches that you've built to over. It'd be like, yeah, it's a special 1 hour special. This is going to be the AEW championship match and the tag title match. And then you get to see, Lakers, whoever, after that. So you get to see Lakers Warriors after. But they, this is not the XFL deal, despite what people on the internet with basically small brains have tried to pass off as similar. It is similar in the fact that their production is paid for. The XFL will be surviving off of ticket sales and jersey sales. Have you seen an XFL jersey yet, James?
No, I have not.
So, they I like the move for Turner. They're going to be streaming their pay-per-views on BR Live. That brings us to our next topic, the AEW pay-per-view price. Now, I have not talked to James about this, so I don't know where he stands on this, but they are charging $50 for the pay-per-views. Seems like the word is that cable companies have gotten a lot more strict to people undercutting them on streaming services, and contracts cannot be signed, or the contracts are being signed in a way where it's like, hey, you cannot lower it, like you can't fuck us, essentially. So that turns out to be the deal for the $50 show. James, what do you think about this $50 price tag?
It sounds like about an appropriate amount for a pay-per-view in 2019 for a secondary wrestling company, or a major second wrestling company in America. Like, I've heard, obviously people like Caleb, who is at Impact Shield and still thinks Impact has a shot. That is ridiculous. That is an astronomical or that price is way too steep. I would respond to him that they could raise their prices, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. It all depends on if it works or not, right? So we'll see. Like, I'm sure that if it bombs or whatever else, I'm sure the price may be lower in future times, or they will just be screwed on pay-per-view, and that'll be the end of them. So it is what it is. I think that people will spend the $50, considering that they sold out their show really damn quick, which means people want to see the show. That's kind of where I'm on. That's where I am on that. And if they were going to, buy those tickets, people would have flown in and spent a lot more money than $50 to watch pay-per-view, right? Or to attend that pay-per-view. So for me, it's like I kind of see the price point being $50. And I'm trying to think, people that still buy the pay-per-views for WWE now, what are they paying? Are they paying $60 for HD?
I'm sure they're paying $60.
I think they're paying $60. If I'm not saying that they're WWE, I'm not saying that. Relax, whoever is freaking out listening to this. I don't, honestly, if you're freaking out today, I don't know why you listen to the show. But or you listen to hate and listen to us, that's fine. I don't care. But
we got your download, kid.
Yeah. So from that perspective, I never really saw an issue with the price, and also knowing the history of how WWE rebounded because of their pay-per-view, them deciding to raise their pay-per-view prices. I kind of thought that people knew that story as well, but apparently not.
So pretty much and we've got examples in boxing and UFC. When I remember when the Floyd Mayweather price tag came out, I was like, $100. No one's gonna pay for that.
Everyone paid for
that. Like, someone contributed to that. And the thing about it is, when you put these prices out at premium prices, it feels important. And it's not a thing where you can just get in on the ground floor. And there's going to be pirates in everything. Like, it doesn't matter. But, like, AEW, they're like, all right, we'll take the money now. Like, fine. And I don't have an issue with it because, like, we don't know if they're running monthly pay-per-views yet. We don't know exactly where they're getting the rest of their money from right now. And for me, it's like, I mean, $50 for a wrestling show, like, that's not like some steep thing for me. Like, especially like the actual fans of AEW and like people that are already in on this shit. Do you think $50 is going to stop them? So if you are like complaining about this, chances are you weren't going to order for 40, you weren't going to order for 45, 35, 25, anything over $9.99, even if that. So
yeah. And one thing for me is, if you're somebody that watched All In, or somebody that watches like takeovers or whatever else, let's say you're hesitant on the price or whatever else, but all it really takes is them to have like one show that has, buzz, word of mouth, or even, if you're a person that like likes these guys, you're going to put that money in. I mean, and if not, then like word of mouth will probably eventually get you if these shows are going to live up to what we kind of think they're going to live up to. Now, I'm not saying they're going to come out here and put out a fucking Dominion 2018. That's ridiculous. But like I could see them putting out like, something along the lines of the quality of All In minus the Penis Druids. and if they do that, hardcore wrestling fans will shill out that money, and they'll be able to, do whatever they need to do as far as like that's the reason why they set it at that price. So I'm not really concerned. Now my whole thing is like, look, I follow, like decisions made as far as for making money for the show or for these companies, wrestling companies. But ultimately, I'm here to watch the product. So like, if you ask me, I think it's gonna be a kick-ass show. I probably think it's gonna be a kick-ass show. So like, I'm not really tripping off paying $50 on a kick-ass show. Like, yeah, we've all done that.
Like, don't come out here and charge $50 and the show suck. Like, don't do that.
Yeah,
and I have
like don't come out here charging us $50 or even $9.99 for fucking Battleground 2017. Don't do that.
Right. And like, I don't care what I paid for Battleground 2019 or Backlash 2018. It wasn't low enough. Like, like $1 would have been too much for that show. But yeah, I think what AEW is doing here is they're zagging when everyone else in wrestling is zigging right now with these streaming services, and they're trying to see what works for them. So I support it. I think it's a good idea, and get your money up. Like
my thing is, it would be one thing if it was like $100 maybe, right? But it's not that price. And then two, like, I mean, what would you spend on what would you spend to see a takeover? Like one of the quality levels of takeovers you've seen over the last like 3 years.
50 or 60, probably 50.
Yeah, so I'm not like, like that's why I'm not really tripping off it. Like, Brooklyn 4. I'd have spent $100 to see Brooklyn 4. I absolutely would have out of my pocket. Like Johnny Gargano at Brooklyn 4 has a chance to win the title. I would have spent $100. I would have been furious after that finish, but I would have spent it. I would have absolutely spent $100 to go see Johnny fight for the title against that piece of shit. Absolutely would have.
Yeah, man, and yeah, that's pretty much it on the the TV deal. Like, congrats to AEW for landing that. Another L for the FDS. But
see, my thing is, the thing that I don't get is like, everybody has their preferences and biases for certain wrestlers or not, right? And regardless of whether or not they succeed in WWE or wherever else, like, I wouldn't want to be in a situation where, like, this person, like, let's say you're a Dean Ambrose fan. You're a big Dean Ambrose fan. Dean Ambrose left. Like, don't you want to see him wrestle somewhere else again, or is he just dead to you because he decided to turn his back on the Empire?
It's like, crazy for some of these folks. Like,
like my thing is, like, I am a pro wrestling fan, and maybe it's also a thing because, like, maybe it's an age thing because, like, I grew up Like there was WCW, and there was and there was WWF, and there was also like this ECW stuff when I was in elementary school. So I watched as much of that stuff as I could. So like I was into just wrestling. It wasn't the fact that it was like I wasn't into like the brand loyalty or whatever you call it, right? Like so when I watch NXT or I watch NXT UK occasionally or 205 Live every seldomly, or I watch Slammiversary last year, or I watch Nights of the Best Super Juniors or whatever else. Like I'm just here to watch, or I watch Stardom, right? I'm just here to watch good wrestling and good storylines and things that like reward me for paying attention and watching it. That's all I care about. All the other stuff, like I don't care what brand it's actually on. Like everybody has their different styles for how people wrestle within all these different companies, but and that's kind of cool because all these things are just all the same except for kind of like the main roster WWE for the most part. But like I'm into just watching good wrestling and good storytelling. Like the other stuff, like I don't really get hung up on that, you know. I just find that weird, but whatever. I mean, like, you know, it's kind of like when people talk about cell phones. We used to always talk about this. Like, do you want window cleaner or do you want Windex? Do you want coffee or do you want Starbucks? Do you want a cell phone or do you want an iPhone or do you want a tablet or do you want an iPad? Mm-hmm. Like a lot of people like are really stuck in loyalty to these brands, even though like these brands and whatever don't give a flying fuck about you. So it's really weird, you know. I just find it really weird. And it's like, look, if your thing is you don't know where to search or whatever else, I don't know. I don't get it. But like AEW's success ain't gonna affect WWE because the WWE is gonna make boatloads of money in spite of itself over the next 5 years, and then it'll probably make boatloads of money in spite of itself 5 years after that contract ends any damn way. AEW ain't finna kill WWE in your lifetime. So chill out, relax.
You know what it is?
Take it easy. You're on 4th Street.
Yeah. You know what it is? Like it's AEW's moment. Like as far as like they have the juice right now, and they're making people feel good, like in large. And I think people are, you know, the hardcore WWE fans are very defensive of the fact that WWE doesn't, and this should be the time for people to feel good about AEW. Like they're about to do their first show. They just announced their TV deal. This is their time, like right now.
You know what it's almost kind of like?
And when SmackDown launches on Fox, it will be WWE's time. It will be like that time for that to dominate the news cycle and the excitement and everything like that.
Right. Like WWE, I mean, let's not WWE. Let's do this. Domestic professional wrestling has a chance to have a boom period this year. It absolutely does. With AEW launching in the fall and WWE moving SmackDown to Fox in the fall, and it's 2 hours, and it can't get out of that unless they want to have a third hour on FS1 that people will not go over to watch. It will be done, right? And WWE will also know that people aren't coming to watch that third hour, so they will make it treated like it's a real 2 hour show. Like, with those two things in place, we are in potential for wrestling to be back in something resembling a boom period for this era. I don't why people need to, you know, be worried about more or less Alabama football being concerned with like UAB, Alabama Birmingham's like football, like them stealing a couple recruits. Like I don't away from the factory. I don't really know. I don't really get it. I don't really care.
Is this UAB whatever. Or is this Clemson or is this like?
You have a point. But I mean, if it does become Clemson,
then good.
If it does become Clemson, like it's gonna take years for it to become that. Years. And by that point in time, like Vince may not be around. WWE as a storytelling producer, maybe, or a content producer, maybe telling a lot better, more concise, more coherent stories that like, you know, are tied to each other from week to week or from month to month or whatever else. So, like, if you ask me, it's funny because we were talking about this on the LOP 700 or 7 million subscriber thing. If you were looking for optimism, the optimism is the fact that like Vince is 73 years old. He won't be doing this forever. And we have somebody that has a track record of being competent as far as trying to tell stories. Now, is that because it's a tape show or is that because of whatever? And that insulates them from injuries? there is something to be said about that. But we have a track record established as opposed to who knows whoever else could have took over, right? So, like I would have more reason to be optimistic about WWE's outlook long term than what they're doing right now. But I guess people can't see that. I mean, I guess it's like we talk about this all the time about people ain't getting it. They're not getting the they don't have the juice or they're not getting the shine that they would like to have being number one. And people tie a fucking a multi-billion-dollar corporation to
that
like
cuts
their
them no
ego.
check.
Yeah, So I think that's part of it. But like, it's just, man, I would suggest to you that if you like what WWE does, don't let this other shit bother you.
Yeah,
y'all on top, right? Who gives a shit?
Act like it.
Yeah.
So AEW is going to be presenting, like they made a big deal in the press release about how they're going to use their storylines and stats and analytics, and I'm really interested to see how they do that. There's going to be similarities to like UFC and meets Mid-South Wrestling, which is like very intriguing for me.
Okay, so for you, what do you imagine? So when you read some of the stuff about them maybe new stats, what in your mind what came to your mind, I guess?
Like finish percentage, stuff like that. Like, all right, how many X amount of times, like when Jericho does like the code breaker, how many times does it directly lead to a win? I heard some people clowning like they can't wait for AEW to come out with the VORP. It's like wrestler above replacement level, like for anybody, but I don't see anybody on the roster that's just straight sorry like that. So I thought there's a lot of creative ways that statistics can be used, and then what they can do is basically take advantage of the fact that it's actually fake. Like, and if they keep someone that actually meticulously updates this stuff, they can dump it on its head at any time and then make it a better story. Like, oh, someone defied their history of whatever if you build it up the right way. Those are the things that I kind of thought would happen.
Okay, so my thought was, and obviously we don't know, we'll see, but my thought was when they said they're going to use statistics, I thought along the lines of this person, whenever put in this type of position, is able to work out of it or whatever else, that sort of thing. Like, I thought of it more like I was watching, it was Tyron Woodley versus Usman from maybe like 2-3 months ago. And Woodley had like the greatest like takedown percentage or defense percentage in like UFC history for a number of matches or whatever else, or fights, sorry. So like so Usman goes in there and all he does is just put Woodley on his back and just beats on him from the top, right? So like that was an interesting story, the fact that like this dude that was the greatest UFC fighter as far as defending against takedowns was literally dominated for five whole championship rounds. Like, so it's like, all right, Kobe Covington, when you go out here, you wrestle, or you go out here and try to tussle with Usman's going to beat the brakes off of you. Like, that's how I saw it. Like, okay, like they're going to tell those kinds of stories, like something simple. I don't think they're going to come out here and say like, yeah, or be like Konami from Stardom and say that my Triangle Lancer win percentage is 100. I don't think he's gonna come out here and do none of that kind of stuff.
I would like to see gag ones though, like pop up like during the match. They'd be like, Kenny Omega 766 V triggers the last 12 months. Like I'd like to see like little gag ones thrown in like amongst the serious numbers or whatever.
I mean, we'll see. But my thing is, I don't think they're going to like over rely and turn it into freaking baseball. I don't think they're going to do that.
It's not going to be Daryl Morey's Pro Wrestling.
Well, off screen it'll probably be Daryl Morey's Pro Wrestling.
So, another big thing that happened in the world of wrestling this week was Bret Hart versus Tom Magee was finally uncovered. James, did you check this documentary out?
No, but go ahead. You have your time. Go ahead, sir.
Yes.
I'm here to support.
So Bret Hart versus Tom Magee, I did a Patreon exclusive on it, and I'll let you guys like in on a little bit here. X-Pac had a great line. He was in the documentary of it. He said, Bret Hart is as good as he said he was. And he was motherfucking right. We waited 33 years to see this match, James. I first found out about the match in Bret Hart's autobiography about 6 or 7 years ago, and wondered, that sounds interesting. This dude, Tom Magee, when I tell you it's 1986, he's big, he's blonde, he's athletic, like no one in the sport.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, now keep in mind, I do know what Tom Magee looked like back then.
Yes, and he did a couple things, and then Bret Hart and him tore the house down in a nice little 5-minute match that people were going crazy for in the crowd. And it's a very simple match. It's like Tom Magee shining at the very beginning, Bret Hart cutting him off, literally hitting all his Bret Hart moves, and then Tom Magee at the end doing like a backflip over the top rope, like the Daniel Bryan spot, the Shawn Michaels spot, moonsault over the top rope, and then he ends up rolling Bret up at one point. And it's just such a feel-good thing that, like, as far as like, oh my God, this man, Bret Hart, everything he fucking ever says is true. Ever. And it's just one more point in the argument for Bret Hart and Bret Hart's pro wrestling. And the idea of it. It did a wonderful documentary to lead into it. It was about 15 minutes, and then the match was about 5 minutes. They had Cassius Ohno in there. They had Tyson Kidd. They had David Hart, or Davey Boy Smith Jr., and he did an incredible Bret Hart impersonation, which is like, you know how people would imitate Stu. Bret is like, people gonna have to start practicing them Bret Hart imitations.
I don't even know what that would even sound like. I have to.
You have to see it.
I guess I'll have to go check it out. But you did enjoy the 5-minute 80s match, huh?
I did.
Okay, cool. Like, my whole thing was like, I always heard I heard the Tom Magee story for years or whatever else. Then like I had heard that, like, you know, that's the only match he was good in, but he was in there with Bret, and it's like, well, I mean, Bret was one of the best wrestlers of all time, so like I can imagine that it was a carry job, and then by all accounts, it was that's exactly what it was. So it's like, you know, house show in the 80s, Bret Hart's a tag team guy, so like I imagine it, like, you know, the expectations were really low, and then they come out there and you got this gigantic dude out here with a great physique and the hair doing backflips. Like I imagine it, like people, you know, especially back then in the 80s for WWF, like a dude that size doing a backflip is probably the first time someone ever did that in Vince's ring. You know, so at that size, so yeah, like I imagine like it was a barn burner for people, and I understand why like the legend took off and why Vince thought that like he found a diamond in the rough, and then he saw him wrestle again, and then again and again he was like, well, this diamond looks real rough, so then it just never worked out for him after that. So yeah. I get it. I get why like that was like a moment in time, and why like back then, the way Vince was already in a bubble back then. Like you didn't see no shit like that anywhere else. Even though like he probably could have, you know, turned on a fucking Tiger Mask match, but whatever.
He like one thing it told me was Vince has been trying to pick the wrong dudes forever, and they gotta remember. You always gotta remember, first and foremost, Vince McMahon is a bodybuilder. Right. And
never forget that. When I get frustrated, and think like, how can you not see the shit that's right before you, Vince? You fucking moron. And
what
then,
the fuck are Baron Corbin's muscles then?
Well, he's tall.
Oh, gotcha.
He's tall.
Gotcha.
You know, like all he, you know, like, you know, they always talk about the with him when it comes to the Vince McMahon
presence. Like
he's in that box, and that box is always muscles and height. It's always, you know, so that's what it comes down to. And then like after the steroid era, in WWE, like it turned into what? Like there wasn't the muscle, so what we do? Like we or when it came down to it, at times when they couldn't find muscle, they found other stuff supported, like blubber, when they had the fucking natural disasters out here fighting Hogan and shit. Like it was always about size in WWE and the spectacle and all the other stuff, and all the stuff that besides, like, you know, the actual wrestling when it came to the wrestling in WWE. So it's like that's what it is with them, and like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, you know, my whole thing is if that's how you feel, that's your philosophy on wrestling, Vince, then I need you to like explain to me why you have these fucking duds for personalities that are at the top of the company, like doing these 10-minute promos. Like, if that's the case, like Samoa Joe should be the fucking top guy in the company. He's the best promo in the company, bar for bar, correct? But no, because he's old and he gets hurt, and whatever excuse you want to come up with, regardless of the fact that like all these other guys, everybody gets hurt. It just they have confirmation bias. So when somebody else gets hurt and it's someone they like, they excuse it. When someone does get hurt that they're iffy on, or they give one push to, even in spite, and hope that, and against their better judgment, quote unquote, they hold that against for the rest of your life. And then you're Finn Balor after they give you that one shot, and then you're one of your golden boys ends up separating his shoulder.
Yeah. With the Bret Hart and Tom Magee stuff, what I can say about Tom Magee is if Tom Magee comes along in 2019, someone figures it out with him.
You think so?
Yes. There are too many good wrestlers now. There are too many ways that he could get better than, doing dark house show matches that are 5 minutes long. Someone would have found him and got him in the right place.
Depends on if the people that found him are the right people to find him and help develop him. Like if you end up being one of those performance center guys, true. Tom Magee was going to be Tom Magee for the next 5 years, and nothing was going to change. Like if he took his ass to, what's it called, to Lance Storm, or to
that man go cut his hair off and wear the black tights.
Yeah, or he goes to a New Japan dojo, or hell, if we find something like if we get Fuka to come out here and start teaching some of these dudes how to work, then there really be something. Because if she can whip up all these damn teenagers into top wrestlers around the world, then I think she can work with better athletes to turn them into something too.
Yeah.
Like Fuka needs to be taken from Stardom and moved right. Sorry, Sarah Del Rey. Sorry, Matt Bloom, Tensai, Albert, whatever else. Look, we need Fuka. We need one ring. We need one ring. If we need a translator, everything else we can get the fuck on.
Shawn Michaels, go to hell. Like
we need to we'll keep Shawn. My point was like, look, if how about this? We get one wrestling teacher, trainer, whatever you want to call them, per ring. So there's 7 rings, right, in the Performance Center last I checked. Fuka needs to have one of them rings to herself.
This is Fuka's ring. So we could have sent Alexa Bliss to that ring, but I would have been afraid for her.
What a transition.
Yeah. So
okay, go ahead.
Alexa Bliss, another injury that is mysterious. They've been doing all these angles to keep her out of the ring for months. This time's adding up. Okay, so since right before Evolution, right? The 2 matches I remember being in was the Royal Rumble, where she got thrown out with no storyline, and then the match against a few weeks ago against Naomi, where she had Converses that she could never tie the shoes, and that was the gag. And Bayley, comedy match, the night after WrestleMania.
Oh yeah, the Bayley match. Are those the only 3 matches she's had since October?
Yes.
On TV?
Yes.
Wow.
So, of course, she's online owning the dirt sheets or whatever, because people are like concerned for her career right now. Mm-hmm. And she's had concussions. She's denied concussions. I don't know what this one is. I don't have her stuff. That'd be a HIPAA violation if I did. But,
that don't really stop. Don't Eamon still work there?
He does.
Or Amon still work there? I thought that, after the CM Punk stuff, when it came out that he's violated HIPAA a few times, that that really don't matter that much anymore, I thought. Or no.
Yeah.
Like apparently in WWE you can have a head trainer that violates HIPAA and you still keep him on the payroll. It's almost as if if they fired him, then Eamon would be able to never mind.
Yeah. Yeah. There's already he's already in too deep.
Yeah.
But yeah, this Alexa thing is, I just wanted to talk about it real quick. She's always hurt, and the time's adding up, and there is always shrouded in mystery. They're always running these angles to keep her out of the ring. Why won't they just come to a decision and be transparent with it?
Well, they like her, and that's really what it comes down to. They really like her, so they're not going to make any changes yet. And we don't know what her injuries are. Maybe they are exactly what we think they are. Maybe they aren't. And I think that's what it comes down to. And I'm not really ready to say that I'm for sure know one or feel one way or the other about if we really do think all these things have been concussions. But she's been away for a long time, and I hope they figure out something for her well-being. Like if she could still wrestle, and she wants to still wrestle, she can go out there and do all the wrestling she wants to. I don't care. Good for her. Like that's what she wants to do. Look, we can have plenty of conversations about how good she is or is not. But one thing I will not say is that I think that she is somebody that I will never say that I think she's somebody that's a loafer or lazy or whatever else. I'm pretty sure she tries hard just like everybody else out here trying hard. So, so if somebody that busted their ass and this keeps happening to them, keeps getting these bad breaks, that does suck. But hopefully, if this is something that she still wants to do or whatever else, hopefully she's able to still do it. And that's kind of where I am on it. Now, as far as the aftermath with the Nikki Cross thing, what do you think about that?
I think the angle was set in motion the whole time. That's why they gave her the win. That's why they had the interaction to kind of just give a clean kind of pass of Alexa's spot to Nikki, align them. Maybe even Alexa becomes her manager for the time being or something like that, because they probably don't trust her because she has an accent.
Oh, they don't trust her. She has an accent. You know that.
Yeah, moving on. Hope Alexa Bliss is okay. So, Lars Sullivan was fined. So, we haven't really touched... I mean, we talked about the Lars stuff when it first happened, I believe, on the show. And you already know where we at with it. One thing that is funny, and shouts out to at the Witch Militia, one of the hosts on Suplex's Shea Butter, she had floated the theory before Meltzer had wrote it in the Observer this week, probably a couple days before it. She was like, what if when he went away with these mental health issues,
Simpy?
Yes, it was him going away because he knew this shit was going to come out.
The block was too hot.
Or it was a cover. Something to that extent. And I was like, now that you mention it, that is interesting. And it turned out to be the case. These fuckers are trying to run from it. He knew it was coming. Whatever happened. Now they did find the dude. Apparently they have it in the contracts to where there is language that shows that they can fine you for something you did before you worked for WWE. The latest of these incidents was happening in 2013. That would have made Lars around 25 years old, so I don't want to hear this he's a kid shit. And he's another one, as you mentioned, they like him. And this was purely sponsor pressure from at least one sponsor to do something about it. And they had to look good in public, and doing a $100,000 fine to a dude that really ain't got no money like that. That seems like I didn't believe it at first. I thought it was work. I was like, yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah?
I was like, sure, $100,000 in sensitivity training, sure. But I heard it was legit, so I don't know how they're.
I always thought it was legitimate. I just thought that, for me, I'm sorry. Go finish your point. Sorry.
I thought it was a work, but this is a bad precedent, and a really, regardless of what I think about the man said, I thought he was an independent contractor.
Yeah. So for me, when I heard about the situation where it was, he's getting fined $100,000 for something that happened when he wasn't with the company, my immediate thought was wow, this is in a way, this is almost like Donald Sterling losing the Clippers, whereas he was recorded against his knowledge, and a video came out, and he said that black people and white people should be, black people should be intermingling with white people, even when it's Magic Johnson talking to Donald Sterling's half black, half white mistress, whatever. So it was really weird. But for me, it's like, yeah, he's racist and he's demonstrated himself to be racist, but also like this is also dirty pool, and like that should not just because you don't like him or what he said was terrible doesn't mean that like this person got shitted on within the rules of the quote unquote game. And if you want to just say never mind that he should get punished regardless, okay, cool, that's how you feel, and I don't necessarily blame you, and I don't necessarily disagree. But it's not like we didn't already know all this stuff, and it's just getting brought up again. Like when the same thing with the Donald Sterling thing, when it came out of like, oh yeah, remember all this defamation suits for housing discrimination and all the settlements he had to make, and all the stuff when he said that like black people, or he had people coming and knocking on some of his rental units, acting like they're police and marking off the ethnicity of people or whatever else. Like that's still racism, not him saying the intermingling thing. Like. If you look at all the stuff or you look through all the stuff, and I haven't looked through all the stuff, it's abundant, it's a lot of it. But a lot of stuff that he has said about all the other people around the world that aren't cis white men or whatever else, right? Like
it ain't just race. Like literally everybody got something. Like this man's
all the isms, all of them, right? So
like, this man's talking about there's a gray area when it comes to rape. Like this man, like he's on another level.
Yeah, like he is just all around bad person, and if you want to say, oh, he's trolling, whatever else, I would suggest you figure out a better way to troll than that. And I would say that's pretty much where I would leave it on that part. But ultimately, like what he said was wrong, what he did was wrong. I don't really care about whether or not he believes that stuff or not because he said it. And when you say it or you type it, like I don't really care. After that stuff is like you said it, like I don't really care about your heart or this other stuff and intent, like. What you typed out and put out into the world was fucking damaging and hurtful to a lot of people. So like, I don't really care about whether or not you actually are racist because you said racist stuff. So let's focus on that instead of getting onto this topic of absolving him of his potential possibility that he may or may not be racist or sexist or whatever else. I don't care. Or homophobic, whatever. I don't care. So he said a bunch of shit. And his apology was that bullshit about, wow, sorry for those that offended, as opposed to, I'm sorry for the stuff I've said and I've grown and I moved on and I'm looking into trying to, try to correct some things correct some of the wrongs I've put out there. He didn't do that. He did I'm sorry for those I've offended.
And like 3 weeks ago on Twitter, he logged on talking about, what are you snowflakes triggered by today? Or something like to that extent. Talking about triggering.
Yeah, people. Yeah. And I mean, yeah, so it's like, I don't even want to get into the part because he's a wrestler and he's trying to work people the same way people are getting on Nia right now for calling Becky a ratings tanker. But
oh yeah, I left that off the damn thing.
Yeah. So it's like I don't know how much of that stuff is real, how much of that is not, and how much of that is playing into what people think they know based off of the reporting they've gotten from wrestling sites or whatever else, because WWE loves to do that. So but ultimately, I think it's a bad precedent they set by doing this. Like, ultimately, what I'm ultimately saying is, stop doing all the bullshit when trying to keep this guy because he says some race shit and your sponsors pissed. Just fire him, move on with your fucking day. Find another Lars Sullivan. There's a bunch of muscle-bound motherfuckers out there that want to wrestle. And he's not. And look, he's been wrestling for how long now? He signed in WWE in 2013, right? 2014. So he's been around for 5 years.
Yeah,
he's not, and look, he's not a god awful worker. Like I saw, like his match with that takeover against Aleister Black was good until the botch. The match he had, his last match on TV against Keith Lee was a good hoss battle, right? And he also, 5 stars Lars we've always joked about. Like he's not a stiff. He's just somebody that's green and needs more time. But my option is, you have literally 50 other guys that are, of similar size, whatever else, that you sign from around the world to get that spot. Just kick it down the road and start doing something else. Like, the juice ain't worth the squeeze when it comes to Lars Sullivan. That's ultimately where I'm on that. So just fire and move on with your day. But you didn't decide to do this, and I find that to be whacker than if you just fired him.
Yeah. Go to hell, Lars. So I wanted to do a small preview for Double or Nothing. Quick thoughts on the card. So let me get that pulled up. If you can go ahead and stall for me for just a moment here.
Oh, you want me to stall for you? Okay. So I went to NXT, both NXT house shows.
Host of NXT, then now forever, James Boyd.
Oh God, here you go. So I went to NXT house shows on one in Tampa on Thursday and yesterday on in St. Pete. And that Thursday show was, we always talk about like the Largo Loop and the, they sent out the C team at NXT. This was absolutely the D team of NXT. Like the main event was ACH.
The lowers, if you will.
Sorry?
The lowers,
yeah.
If you will.
Yes. The main event of that was Albert Hardy Jr., the former ACH, and Umberto versus Eichner and Bartel.
Okay.
And it was just a good match. It wasn't a great match. It wasn't a very good match. It was just a good match. Right. Surprising, right? It was also like Cesar Bononi versus Killian Dane. It was Vanessa Bourne versus Jesse Alaban. Trying to think what else is on that card. The team with the, oh my God. Bugenhagen was on both shows.
Wow.
Bugenhagen won a singles match on Thursday. That's how bad this show was. or how low level the show was. And then the Friday show in St. Pete, it had the main event was Caggiano versus Killian Dane in a damn Hoss match. It was a very good match. The semi-main was Bianca versus Mia, and looked like probably like them setting up for or some version of the rematch for the future. Like they're setting up for that. They did that was a really good match as well. And there was also Umberto versus Trevor Lee, and that match was really good. So like Thursday show was a lot better.
Yeah. I do have the card pulled up. So, as we mentioned, Adam Page versus PAC is no longer on the card. Adam Page will be getting a mystery opponent. I don't know who it could be. They do have a lot of guys signed that are not announced for this show. They could easily sub that person in. And they also have mystery people.
Before you get in, I'm sorry for waiting this long to get into it. The Thursday show had Hector Garza Jr. in a match versus somebody. I can't remember his name. But Hector Garza Jr. is fucking hilarious. He came out there, he wrestled, and he's working heel like a version like he's vacillating between comedy and seriousness. Mm-hmm. And then all of a sudden, like he's working over this guy, and then like 5 minutes into the match, all of a sudden he rips off his pants because the chair weighs. He has the trunks underneath. He works from there. Dude's fucking hilarious. And he was getting catcalled by some of our Hispanic brothers and sisters, and I believe one of our brothers in Spanish was hitting on Hector Garza, and he incorporated that into the work. And by the point he got to the end of the match, he won the match. He gets out the ring and has it was almost like a I can't explain. It was like a mother kissed him on the cheek, and then he goes over after he gets kissed on the cheek by the mother. He goes to the railing where the guy was catcalling him and suck his cheek out to get kissed, and then he blocked that man. I was like, yo, this dude's really good at his job. So yeah, I just wanted to give a special shout out to Hector Garza Jr. because he's one of those dudes that's very talented, and then we'll see what they do with him in the future, because the pipeline is backloaded with plenty of talented people, but it all depends on Vince, so we'll see.
Yeah. So it's weird because the pipeline, it just keeps getting added to, but never like release. They don't release anything from the other side, so there's no real place for the pipeline to go. But
yeah, don't you think the stagnation is a part of the reason why like people have kind of like checked down WWE, because like it's the same people every single time, and like the lifeblood of wrestling is that like new faces kind of often. Like you're supposed to get like, and I don't mean this in a bad way, but like you're supposed to
like
lose
3 to 5 years.
Yeah, like you're supposed to lose a Prince Devitt that goes on to be Finn Balor, so that you can bring in an AJ Styles, so that you can lose AJ Styles and Nakamura, so you can like elevate Kenny Omega. You know, like that's kind of how it's supposed to go. And then, like as people matriculate, like you move them up the ranks out of the cruiserweight division. Like we already know, like 2-3 years from now, like Shingo is going to be going to be a top guy in New Japan. Like he already is a top guy in the cruiserweight division, but like the Ospreys and the Shingos and the Ibushis, like, and that neverweight kind of like class, like that's going to be like the future in 2, 3, 4 years. So like there's always supposed to be a cycle of this, and they're going to be constant. There's always going to be Tanahashi, Okada, what I'm saying, a Naito if his knees hold up, that sort of thing. But like it's like the card is at the top of the card is supposed to be some bit of a turnover for new matchups, that sort of thing, as opposed to like. We have AJ versus Seth for the first time on the main roster, but like you look at SmackDown, they're about to do Charlotte Becky again. Like so it's kind of like they don't let anybody go, so therefore like those people still remain and they're gonna still be on top because those are top people. Like they don't like leave and come back, like unless there's like a Jericho that will leave and come back occasionally because he's realized there was a glut at the top and. Like he doesn't want to burn out, his welcome.
Right. But
bro, is there a single match besides like somebody that has been on the roster less than 2 years? Is there a single match from any quote unquote WWE veteran, main roster veteran that you want to see with Randy Orton anymore? Because I can't think of a single one.
A single one. Let's see. So
maybe Joe, because we ain't seen that yet. Maybe.
No. Like,
See what I'm saying?
I'm ready for it to let it go.
Because he's wrestled everyone and he's still around and he's...
The only guys I want to see Orton fight is like Ricochet or Almas or all the new guys.
Exactly. That's my point. Because everybody has wrestled everybody because it's 5 hours of television. And the roster never turns. Or at least now, before, they would skim like the bottom, but like even like the mid-carders and up would just stay around forever. And... that ain't exactly a healthy thing for your product to be like, that like, okay, I want something shaken up and exciting. Is like, how many times are you going to shake up and excite like the same 6 guys?
Yeah. So, as I mentioned, Paige, he could probably be getting either a surprise person that has not been revealed yet. I am not predicting Jon Moxley, by the way.
Oh my God. Well, maybe Moxley... Maybe they'll have Adam Cole or Adam Page go over on Moxley. Who knows?
Never know. But Moxley is my pick to win the Battle Royal, though. I think he will be picking number 21 and coming in.
So let's say that he is actually, in fact, at Double or Nothing, right? Do you think that if he is, that he's already agreed to terms with them, or do you think they're still negotiating?
So since it's a week away, he put out that video. They have to be negotiating with him by this point.
Okay.
I don't know if the deal is sealed though, but for me, and I would think the appeal behind this, because it is on the pre-show that they're having this battle royal, so they did throw stakes on it. If you have Dean Ambrose do that, show up there, right? This is your first show. Holy shit, like on the pre-show, Dean Ambrose showed up. Like, what the fuck? Like, and he won, and he's the number one contender for the title. Okay, this is crazy, and it's gonna be on Facebook, YouTube, all the services essentially. So for free, so everyone that's complaining about that $50, can see it. So I wouldn't be opposed to that idea. We got Cody and Dustin in their long-awaited match. Apparently, Cody has dropped a video tonight that I have not seen. That is essentially another chapter for the build with his match with his brother. Looking forward to see what's going on there. What do you think is going to happen here, James?
I think that Cody is going to retire his brother, and we'll move on from there. And I think that I'm not really sure yet. Like, I almost feel like they're trying to use personality as opposed to a clear babyface heel dynamic. I think most people will be cheering for Cody because of this audience. But I think there'll be I think there'll be stuff there for people that want to cheer for Dustin to be able to do so. But I'm not sure. Like I don't know how the match would go. Like I don't know if it's going to be if he just beats the hell out of him and leaves him for dead, or if it's going to be a situation where it's like, I love you,
right?
Like or whatever. What does Helen Deshawn say to
sorry.
to Flair?
I'm sorry, I love you.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I love you. So maybe that's what it is, but we'll see.
Yeah,
I'm actually interested in that match because of the two promos they both cut. They both put out there a few weeks ago, but I haven't really been following behind it that close. Like I'm not into the AEW thing like as far in and hyped up about the AEW thing as you are so far. But I'm interested to see the shows, but I'm just not like I'm not 100% sold yet. I have to see the shows first. That's kind of where I am on it.
Then up next we got Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky SCU against Shima, T-Hawk, and Lindemann, who I hear are incredible. The Chinese acrobats. You've seen the gifs, James. This should be crazy, and this could be the opener.
Yeah, I'm excited to see these new guys. Because in theory, the thought is that they're supposed to be like the new era of cruiserweights, or kind of what the cruiserweights were for WCW. So I'm excited to see them. I've heard good things about how excited they are. Like I'm trying to. One thing I'm really interested in is how they create a space for. This is for the suspension of disbelief for American hardcore audiences between, a lot of like the lucha stuff, and I'm guessing also what OWE does, and also like when you also have someone like Cody that will go out there and do like the NWA match from All In. Like I'm trying to figure out like in my headspace how they're going to make that work or educate their fan base that like all of these different styles and all different rules or styles for ring psychology and make them all work so where people aren't just like, I can't buy that, but I'll buy this, and then make it all work. I mean, and
I don't think they have to.
Our point is like we've seen people make this work before because obviously we've seen the cruiserweights and WCW. We've seen all that all work at that point in time in our lifetimes. But I think I'm talking about more for the casual fans or the people that are the people that are trying to gain the new fan base they're trying to grow. Like I think that's important for them to try to figure that out for the sake of them.
Gotcha. I was gonna say because I think everyone that already watches AEW or is already kind of ready for it. They already know how to take this shit. But okay, we know how to turn our brains off from like what's supposed to be the celebrity funny match to your Joshi classic to your old school NWA match to your fucking death match, damn near, to your lucha match to your main event style match.
Yeah, we can all do that because we've seen it. But like, we always talk about how homogenous WWE is, and or the main roster is, and there's a reason for that. Is because they want it to be to where you can buy all the stuff psychologically, and like for something new that has all that variety, you're gonna have to like sit through some of these matches for a new fan base to kind of get educated on the fact that like all these different styles work differently, and this is how they kind of work. You kind of have to see them and like kind of have it like marinating your brain for it to work for you for a new fan. So like that's a struggle that you're gonna have to have if you're planning on growing this business to outside of your hardcore fan base.
So we've got women's three-way: Dr. Britt Baker, Nyla Rose, and Kylie Ray.
Gonna be a good match. Will it be as good as the four-way that they had at All In? It has a possibility to. But I am optimistic about that match being good, especially after watching the Britt Baker and Tessa match at Shimmer.
And I think Nyla Rose is going to have a star-making performance because
she's good, very very fucking good.
Yes, and people are going to just like, and I feel like a lot of people haven't seen her wrestle. They've seen the gifts and like, oh, I see what she's capable of athletically, but I think it's going to be a whole different thing when you see it in HD, when it's coming at you, when she's jumping up on the ropes like and flipping and all that. I think it's going to be a whole nother ball game with her, and I can't wait to cheer for Kylie Ray. So, we got some new matches announced this week. Of course, how did I forget? The Young Bucks against Pentagon and Phoenix for the AAA Tag Team Championships.
So where are you? Okay, so let's assume they're going to get the time they need to do the match that we all think they're going to give us. Where do you set the over under for star rating?
4.5.
I agree.
And then in your main event, you got Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. Jericho has unleashed a new move, which is fucking hilarious. I don't know if you've seen it. He's calling it the Judas effect, and he was working out in Dave Bautista's MMA gym, and they've got his MMA trainer and all that, and he's put it on Instagram, and he is doing a spinning back elbow now as a finish. I was like, this motherfucker Jericho's a genius. This man came up with a finish to where he doesn't have to take a bump, like. Because he getting old, like bro. When I saw that shit, but you have to see an Instagram video because Jericho's dead ass serious. He's talking about how dangerous it is. The MMA trainer's talking about how they don't even teach this move anymore in martial arts. It's nuts. Like, so yeah, I'm looking forward to see if he can hit Kenny with the Judas effect. I'm expecting Jericho to win here and take a victory into Dominion.
Yeah, that's what I expect too, honestly. Especially if you want the feud to continue down the line, where you do a third match or rubber match, or they're going to call it at a later date. Yeah, I think that's the appropriate place to do it. Is in the future you have those two fight for the top title eventually, and then you make a Omega or Jericho your champion, probably Omega, but. Yeah, I definitely agree. Jericho has to get his W, and then take that momentum, quote unquote, that momentum all the way to Japan for Dominion, and then
shot the world for the IWGP Championship.
Do you know how furious people would be if he beat Okada for the fucking title? Do you understand? Look, like you'd be like, wait a second, you mean to tell me? You mean to tell me
there's going to be one world title and two promotions?
That would be hilarious. That would be a cool way to announce it. Like, yeah, we're going to announce a partnership. Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, we're going to do AEW versus New Japan or and have this swap talent. That'd be a cool way to announce it. But I wouldn't do that.
Yeah,
I would not do that.
That's something for the Fire Pro. Go to somebody's promotion and leave with their belt. Like that's literally Fire Pro. But added this week, and I think that match is going to be great. I think Kenny is itching to wrestle, and it's been since January. So the physically demanding matches that he wrestles, he's healed up and 100% ready to go. And Jericho looks like he's been training his ass off in the gym. So I have no doubts. I've seen it once, so it can only be great again.
I'm still concerned the fact that there's no, there's no Jericho rules, but we'll see.
Then we got a couple more matches. We got Best Friends against Jack Evans and Angelico, and those guys were signed as a tag team. I believe they competed in Lucha Underground. I have not seen these guys work before, but everyone was excited that I talked to about them. Apparently, they do a bunch of flips and shit. So that's all I need for tag teams. And it's good. I like the addition to the card because if the Bucks and Pentagon and Phoenix were the only tag team match that was on here, it wouldn't really feel like much of a division, and they're going to have this, focus, they say. So, really interested there. And then the Joshi match. We've got Aja Kong, Yuka Sakazaki, and Emi Sakura against Hikaru Shida, Ryo, and Ryo Mizunami. Woo! Apparently, this was put together by Kenny to showcase the Japanese women, and this is actually what they're saying is going to be AEW's version of the Cruiserweights, the Joshis.
It could be. I mean, there's so much Joshi talent out there around the world, and you look at Yuka and you look at Asia, who are both, or at least Asia, she freelances in Tokyo Joshi Pro, and Yuka works at Tokyo Joshi Pro, and there's a bunch of other talent that are even better than Yuka that are in Tokyo Joshi Pro, like Miyu Yamashita, who I've raved about as far as being the queen, one of the queens of kicking. And then there's also like Maki Ito or Ito, I can't pronounce the name right. And then there's also Yu. So like, yeah, there's plenty of talent left around the world. And then you throw in, like Hikaru Shida, who freelancer, mostly works Oz Academy. So yeah, like. I saw a match from I think late last year between Hikaru Shida. I think I sent it to you in Asia Kong, and it is every single solitary. It's like every single Vader Sting, Vader Flair, like monster fighting against a babyface who's fighting for their life. And it's an incredible match. It's probably like 4.25, 4.5, and like that is what I will now be describing. And we've described other situations when it's some of our brothers from the from Eastern Europe and the NBA when they have beef that like from a Euro League or whatever else that is now brought to the forefront of the NBA, and you find out they're like, oh yeah, these people have beef. Like we call that old country beef. Well, Hikaru Shida versus Asia Kong is old country beef, so I can't wait to see them like go at it again. Because look, like Asia Kong was beating the piss out of Hikaru Shida until all of a sudden she pulled out that kendo stick and started wailing on Asia. So like I can't wait to see. And also like Hikaru Shida brings the stick everywhere she goes. So
yeah.
Like it will be used, I'm sure. So she's gonna crack somebody's skull in, and it's gonna be interesting to see how that works out.
Very interested to see how Double or Nothing goes. Last thing I wanted to get to today was our champions in WWE. And when I say our champions, I'm talking about three people. I'm talking about Seth, we're talking about Becky, and Kofi.
Since sure you don't want to talk about the Iconics?
Fuck no. Why will we do that? We will talk about them on Sidelined, which will be available for the Patreon subscribers for $1. So give us the buck, and you will hear me rip on the Iconics for $1. Yeah, man. So, like, who do you think is like kind of like had the best like run leading up to their matches here this weekend?
I mean, you have to say Kofi, right?
Easily.
Yeah. Like he fights, he beats people in the middle of the ring with his move. His matches have been really good, or he has the best set of matches amongst any of the three. Like Seth is out here doing pretty much nothing. And it's really a shame because like Seth versus AJ. Not even, sorry,
like the Universal title is like, all right, we were waiting for it to be on somebody so they could like do something with it, and it really hasn't been a central part of Raw.
Right, like he had the match he had the champion versus champion match. He got Smalls Dolph, and he had the tag match with Kofi versus the Bar, and then like we really kind of haven't seen him do much. Oh, he also had that stupid thing with
where he got pinned.
Where he got pinned because AJ may or may not have hit him on purpose, and it's like, why do y'all have to do this to every AJ Styles babyface feud now? Like, it's like they did the one babyface feud with him and Roman, and then like decided if we ever do babyface feud with AJ in the future, it will always be about like passive aggressive bullshit that no one really cares about. Like, it's just, I don't know. It's really it's annoying, but yeah, like I think because like the feud, that build has been so like lackluster that like the crowd might not care when they wrestle, and then it'll be another like indictment of like Seth / or it'll be another discussion people have about like, why do people zone on these Seth matches or whatever else, and then like you notice like the last two big AJ matches like between the Royal Rumble with Bryan after like that feud had already been done with, and they decided to run that back another time, and then this one's like, oh, so now like these are two of the four biggest guys in the company, and like they have big matches and people just don't even care anymore. And it's like, well, if you got to get concerned for the well-being of the company when like two of your four top guys have matches with, and silence. It's like people kind of like tune them out.
Yeah. And I'm interested in the match. But yeah, I have not been impressed by Seth at all, really, except, from odd like promos that he's cut like every so often. But I don't know, man.
Yeah. We'll see. But like Becky, I mean, I think the intrigue for Becky at this point now, I mean, obviously we all know that like Charlotte versus Becky is going to be good. But like the real intrigue is like, can can Lacey Evans not like spit up on her bib? Like, can she not crap the bed? And then after that, it's like, all right, so like, which belt will Becky be losing, and how will she be losing it? Will it be a cash in? Will it be, Lacey wins a match? Will it be Charlotte wins a match? Will it be, that sort of thing? So, and also like, where would that take her to as far as will she be on Raw? Will she be on SmackDown? Then you throw in like the fact that like she seems to be SmackDown talent, but then you look at the fact that she's in a public relationship with Seth now. So like, how will they handle that? So it's that part.
It's a wild card rule, James.
God damn it!
They got a way to handle everything.
Anyway, like. The intrigue around the Becky match is more or less like which belt or will she lose all the belts, as opposed to like, will the matches be good? Or do you want to actually see the matches? Like, I'll take Charlotte versus Becky almost anytime I can get it, because those are going to be amongst the best matches of the year on the main roster for the women. But at the same time, you've done that to death over the last 7 months.
I no longer care about Charlotte versus Becky. Does Charlotte feel like she got anything out of being in the WrestleMania main event right now?
No.
It's like, do they have a chance in hell at main eventing this show?
No.
That is a stunning indictment of everything that I've been saying, that they picked them for that shit. And it was like clear that Kofi and Daniel Bryan, by the time the day came, should have been on last and been the main event.
Well, the thing is, it would have worked if they not decided to add Charlotte to the match and cut the thing with fucking baking soda. Like they screwed up their own match. Like they had a main event match set up there and right there for them, and they decided to go out there and do a bunch of. I don't even know if adding Charlotte to the thing is what killed it. It's like the fact that the storytelling in the 10 weeks from Royal Rumble to WrestleMania was so shitty that it's like, why should I possibly give a fuck? It's like the same thing we're talking about when it comes to Seth and AJ. It's like, your build was so shitty. Like, it's cool that it's a match I want to see, but like, I don't really care because the story sucks, or the story isn't there, or you lost the plot of your story. So why should I care? Like, you jumped the shark on your thing. So like, have a match. Hope the match is good, but like, the interest level for it ain't there because you told an uninteresting story.
Yeah, and I'm ready for it to be over. These two need to go their separate ways. There are a million more people. Both of them can wrestle. And I think they need to push them both harder.
I agree.
And quit fucking around with it. But anyway, on a much happier note, that's going to wrap the show up. So make sure that you guys are rating and reviewing us on iTunes, anywhere you're consuming this show. Check out the rest of the shows on the Social Suplex Podcast Network. Of course, Sundays here, One Nation Radio. Tuesdays, we got Keeping It Strong Style. Wednesdays, we got the Ricky and Clive Wrestling Show. Every other Wednesday, we've got Grown Men Watch This Shit. Thursday, Friday, not sure when he gets it out, but NXT Then Now Forever with James and the rotating co-hosts. And our boy Floyd, and every other Saturday, Amy Euler will be joining him on All Things Elite. So I believe she was on this week. I'll be checking that out shortly. But we are also going to go ahead and record Sidelined. If you'd like to hear the Sideline for Money in the Bank, check out the One Nation Radio Patreon, patreon.com/One Nation Radio. Plunk your buck down and then hear these jokes. And make sure you check out powerslam.tv, and I'm going to see if anybody notices this. There are now 5,000 hours on powerslam.tv. Use code Social Suplex. So, and also, buy the merch. What the hell y'all thinking? But anything you want to add before we get up out of here?
Nothing. I just want to say that I heard your little jab about my release date for NXT Then Now Forever. Like, look, bro, there are time zones and stuff, and other people that have to do the show. So I see what you're doing, but like, it's fair enough because that's what we do with Keeping It Strong Style. So I get it. But I don't think I didn't catch your little jokey jokes.
Hell, I might put this out tonight. You know, never know. Just to play with it. But anyway, that was gonna wrap it up. We'll holler at y'all.
Oh wait, do you want me to talk about Kabuki Warriors?
Oh my god. Yes, I have not. James, how did I almost forget this? So, this man did not do the Tuesday show with me in protest. The floor is yours, sir.
It wasn't protest. It was more or less just like... And remember, I actually liked Raw for the most part because they had their last 4 matches were pretty damn good. But... I heard Kabuki Warriors like, dude, I don't have time for this racist ass company. I just don't. Not today. Like, I just can't put up with it. And then there's word about Asuka was pushing to be called the Kabuki Girls, and then it's like, but that makes no sense, Asuka, because look, y'all are women, and Kabuki was like men dressing up as women and doing these things, and it's like, and then you throw in all the stereotypical stuff of what Kabuki means to the American wrestling world historically is like, I don't think that's a good idea. So for me, it's just like, there's a million other names they could have came up with over time. They didn't need a name right now because they're not doing anything with them right now. They're just beating, jabrones. So it's like, they could have waited and came up with another name after that. And then it's just, we'll see if they even keep the name because there's a video game that, that's called the Kabuki Warriors. So we'll see where they end up with it.
Shouts out to Bernard.
Well, I knew about that before then, but then he said it to me today. I was like, great. I kind of plotted that in my mind. But it's just these women should not be in a tag team. These should be women that should be getting built up as credible contenders to fight, like Charlotte and Becky in the future, as opposed to they're in a tag team in a division that is 3 deep.
That is led by the Iconics.
You know what I'm saying? But my question is, who's the 4th tag team? Name me a 4th tag team in the women's division right now.
There is none.
Okay, then. So, what is this? And if you want to say, well, they laid the groundwork for NXT or whatever else, is like, okay, that I guess the 4th team would be Let's Fight, Let's Play. Yeah, Let's Fight and Let's Play between Duke and Shafirs. Okay, so...
And Vanessa Bourne and Aaliyah.
Oh, so 5. We have a 5-team division. That's outstanding. And also, they only have one that's actually good. We have one good tag team, 1 mediocre tag team, and 3 bad tag teams. That's the division. And one of the bad tag teams are the champions. Outstanding work. You guys deserve trophies for your fucking incompetence. You mean to tell me that they couldn't have what are they doing with Bayley right now? Nothing. Oh, okay. Sasha's home because you decided to do this. You could have made use of the division. All of this stuff. Either do it or don't. Don't make the division and kill it within months. That does nothing for your morale of your people. You move these people around in different areas and have people do all this other shit to ultimately lead to fucking nothing when you did that. And we are now 4 weeks away from, or 4 weeks past WrestleMania, or more than 4 weeks past WrestleMania. We are now 6 weeks past WrestleMania.
Man, WrestleMania
right?
feels like ages ago at this point.
Yeah, and
it's because of everything that's gone on. The wild card rule, the superstar shakeup just falling flat and failing horribly.
Yeah, and the call-ups or whatever else. Why did Kyrie get brought up? Why? What's she doing? Anything important? No. She's just another person taking spot. Okay, cool, great.
Kabuki Warriors, boy.
And my whole thing is if you want to do something interesting, all right, have Paige and Asuka turn on Kyrie immediately right now, this very second, and have Asuka with a mouthpiece, and then you can finally say that she gives some credibility because apparently now you have somebody who can speak English, so then people will care, even though Asuka doesn't. Asuka cut these promos in Japanese that are more important than anything Baron Corbin's ever fucking said, and it's Jesus Christ, no one gives a shit about that shit, Vince. That's only you.
Yeah.
Every other promotion around the world that is successful has foreigners that don't speak whatever language that the company is in domestically, and they figure out how to get these people over and make it work for them. You can do the same exact thing. You can't tell me that you had fucking Kane run around as a top mid-carder / a monster, a main event monster for all those years while doing very little talking at all, and then come back on the other end and then say, oh yeah, like Andrade, you're the best worker in the company right now, probably, but we need you to speak English to make it work for you. Fuck out of here. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Like, Asuka, you're one of the 3 best workers, female workers this company's ever had, but we need you to speak English in order to actually give you a sustained push that goes more than 4 weeks.
Even with the belt.
Yeah. I mean, remember, she won that belt and then she was off TV for 2 straight weeks. And then they gave her video package the 3rd week. And then she finally showed up for 1 week, and then she was off TV the next week after that. And then she lost the belt after doing absolutely nothing as champion to Charlotte. Is Becky are they gonna do Asuka versus Becky? And have it be based around the fact that like the only person that's beaten Becky since Survivor Series clean is Asuka? No, they're not doing that. Because she's in a fucking tag team now. She's in a dead tag team division.
Boy.
It's the same thing we talk about, like, why they do this stuff. Is it ever going to pay off? No. Like, is Becky ever going to put Vince McMahon in an arm bar for all the shit she put, all the hoops that he made her run through? No. Because the big dog punched him out.
Yep.
Braun Strowman, are you ever going to do any more than just turn over that card because your Royal Rumble title shot got taken away? Are you ever going to get your title shot back? And that was promised to you by Seth McMahon under threat that you were going to tear down the entire building and the show and the production truck and all that? No, because the big dog punched him out. And I'm not even saying that's a knock against Roman, because like that is a top storyline. Even though like he's the top guy, why the fuck are you having him do this lame ass feud against Shane McMahon and the Lars, for Christ's sake? But it always comes back to they do all this stuff, and then they swerve you, and then the whole idea and get heat, and the whole idea is heat is meant for a payoff, and these people never get their payoffs, or they never even get a closing on that storyline. We still don't know why Vince was fucking with we still don't have explicit reasons for why Vince was fucking with Kofi all that time in the build of WrestleMania.
Yeah,
they completely moved on past that.
Yeah, boy.
Vince didn't even say, you know what, Kofi, you proved me wrong at WrestleMania. You actually are championship material, blah, 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 blah. Even though I set all these obstacles in the way to keep you getting your own title shot and you winning your first shot. You made me look really bad. Just moved on past it.
Like, just shake his hand or something. Like,
yeah, like, you do not get rewarded for watching the product. You just don't. For watching it and like, oh yeah, I was paying attention here. Oh, okay, just doing shit. Okay. Usos have been bullying the fucking Revival, and then on the pay-per-view, it is the Usos versus Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. Now, if the Revival come out and they interfere in the match, then it will lead to something, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I meant Rowan, sorry.
Yep. I got you. Yeah, man. Double or nothing, May 25th. Be there.
And the whole thing, all that started with Kabuki Warriors, but it's just like they are in such a bad state with me as far as my trust for them to be able to tell a story or trust it. Like this will actually, they actually have care for people. That when you give them somebody a whack name, it makes you believe like, oh, so they're already dead on arrival.
Right?
They're already dead. Like because you don't even have care with your top fucking people, or storylines or plots that lead to future future programs, or whatever. So why should I believe that like you're bringing in Asuka, who you fucked with for now a whole year and a half with now, that like makes me believe that like I'm going to trust you to do anything with her now that you moved her off, and then you put her with this new girl that is a pirate. Like
now they're Kabuki.
They're done. They're already sticking fork in them. Like Kairi Sane is dead on arrival. Like her first night she was already dead.
Unbelievable.
I'm sorry, her third weekend she's already dead. She might be the best female worker you have. Doesn't matter. She's already dead. And look, you can prove me wrong, but like, look at the track record they have over the last 2 years, and you tell me what's more likely to be the case.
Look at the adjective. Anyway, that's gonna wrap it up. We'll holla at y'all.
Kabuki.